Hello, my name is Judy Sexton, and I am a U.S. Army veteran. I served from 2006 to 2010. I currently live here in Buffalo. I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and I work at the Buffalo VA. So I served in the U.S. Army. I joined in 2006, and then I was honorably discharged in 2010. I was on active duty. I was a 68 Echo dental specialist. I was stationed at Fort Bliss, El Paso, Texas. And then I transferred out to White Sands Missile Range, where I was the NCOIC out there. And then I PCS'd, really in a strange turn of events, actually PCS'd to another unit at Fort Bliss, the 31st Combat Support Hospital, where I was a platoon sergeant before I was discharged from the military. So just a little update on me. My husband and I moved here in 2020, November of 2020. My husband is still in the military. He's up at the Niagara Falls Air Force Reserve Base. So prior to moving here, I was actually a probation parole officer for the state of Missouri for the last 6 or 7 years. So got out of the military, immediately went back to school using my GI Bill, got a bachelor's degree in criminal justice with a minor in leadership, and then I started literally at a federal halfway house on a contract with the Bureau of Prisons right after I had graduated college. Like, had the job lined up. Guest speaker came into the school. My teacher put in a good word for me, and I literally started before I graduated, so that was nice. And then I did that for about a year, working at the halfway house with the federal inmates, and I switched over and worked as a probation parole officer up until like the day before I moved here with my husband. So my current role right now is I am a peer support specialist with the Buffalo VA, working inside the women's wellness clinic, so 3rd floor, B wing. If you come up and see your primary care provider there, I am co-located there. Really part of the behavioral health team at the Buffalo VA, but what in a nutshell I do is I work alongside a PAC team. So if you go to the VA in your primary care team, you have your doctor, your nurse, your social worker, your LPN, your psychologist, and now me. So we kind of make up of a team of people to where we have PCMHI, primary care, mental health integration, where we're all like one team. So that's my current role right now. Yeah, so if you're a female veteran and you're being seen in Western New York, I don't even just say the Buffalo VA, Western New York, and so down south, southern tier. I even have a few veterans right now that are in the Syracuse area, because my role is so small inside the VA. There's truly maybe 10 of us total female peers that work in the entire country, that work in a primary care clinic. A lot of times you're going to find your peers in specialty clinics where you have to have like a referral to that type of, like, you have to be referred to the 10th floor of the VA to see the mental health clinic, or you have to be referred to HUD-VASH to work with our HUD-VASH peer. But literally all you need to do to be referred to me is just be a female peer that's being seen at the VA, and talk to your primary care provider, and then just ask them to send me a Teams message or something to get connected. There's really no like requirement other than just being a female peer that's enrolled at the VA. My family is like this long line of military law enforcement. So my grandpa's a World War II veteran, Merrill's Marauders, if you have any history buffs there. And then, so he served in World War II. Then my dad is a retired sergeant major. He was in the Army as well. And then my brother was in before me, and then me, and of course my husband. And so when I was in the military, as a lot of us are joining the military, we were like, what are we going to do when we get in? Like, we don't really know. And you're in there and your recruiter's like kind of pressuring you about what you're going to do. And so my dad was like, just take anything medical. It's how you end up with dental. But I really want to do law enforcement, because at the time my dad's a cop and my brother's a cop. So then I was like, well, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do something in law enforcement. But when I got out of the military, I was like, you know what? I don't know how I feel about being like an actual law enforcement officer. I think I really have this feeling of like helping people create change in their life. And that's kind of where this job really kind of overlaps with my previous job, because I believe that people have the ability to change, and I've kind of just mixed the two together. So my old job as a probation parole officer, just helping people that were recently incarcerated and that got out, it was about creating a relationship with them and helping them get on their feet to, be stable. And in some ways, that helping piece and that change piece is just really overflowed into my current position as a peer. Is just believing that, people have the ability to change or might need some support at that time, but they kind of mix together. Self-care, yeah. Oh, if you're giving back to the community, you definitely have to take care of yourself. I think that's one of the major pieces of my life that I do every single month. I literally I book a massage. I go to the gym probably 3 or 4 days of the week. I go to spin class. I just make sure, because when you have to have your cup filled up in order to fill other people's cup up. So if you can't take care of yourself, how are you going to help truly, take care of others? So my husband kind of gives me a hard time about it, but I would say I'm pretty feminine in some ways. So a lot of, if you're a feminine female, I'm with you on that, but I definitely do a lot of self-care, probably too much self-care. So, but yeah, definitely, I feel like that's actually a piece of being a peer, is just like showing people that you have to have self-care in order to really truly take care of yourself. So yeah, for sure. I believe the power of a peer is the experience that we have, the been there, lived there, done that. A lot of us, I think what's tough sometimes when you're talking to somebody and they don't really understand, like, oh, you don't know what I've been through. I know I really do. I know what it's like to struggle with anxiety or depression, or struggle to get out of bed or brush your hair, or maybe you're struggling with substance use, like whatever that is. All of us peers that work, inside the VA or anywhere, we have the lived experience portion of this, so we can, understand what it's like to be in your shoes, which is different than just going to like a provider, like a social worker or a therapist, where they don't really necessarily understand it. So we're looking on the outside, so we can really talk to you about what those steps are you need to do to create change in your life. If I have a veteran in front of me that's isolating themselves, and truly struggling, the first thing is please don't ever be scared to reach out for help. Everybody needs help. Everybody needs somebody. Even the strong, even us. I mean, I'm still a human being. Everybody here, like the personal connections with the people that I see on a weekly or biweekly basis is inspiring. But don't be scared to reach out, because everyone, especially peers, we've been there. Reach out for help, and reach out to a peer, the VA, another veteran that that you can trust, and just start small with changes. Don't feel like it has to come overnight, or you need some, you're one little thing at a time, one small little step, one little bit, a little bit more. Make sure you're finding people and surrounding yourself with people that can truly listen to you without judgment. I think that's one of the huge pieces about actually being a peer, is effective listening, where you're listening without response, but you're listening just to listen without judgment, which is something I think we all, like, I don't care who you are, veteran, peer, like we all need to learn to like not respond, but just truly listen to what this person has to say, and let them kind of direct their own part of the change in their life. Don't tell that person what they need to do to change. Let them pick the direction of where they would like to go with the change. Let them set the small goals in order for them, because people need buy-in in the change, right? Nobody's going to say, well, here's what you need to do to create these steps in your life. No, let that person identify what they need to do in their life. So if you're isolating right now, know that there are people out there that care, people that want to help you, and just make the small step by making that phone call to your VA or to a veteran that you think might listen to you, and then work on those small changes in order to create the larger change in your life. Yeah, balancing, the been there, done that versus the spouse role is interesting, because sometimes You have to have a lot of patience because you do know the other side of it as well. And you want to be supportive and not judgmental and patient with things. But I think it actually benefits me in the long run because I understand what their service members are going through. And my husband's been in for 17 years. So it's not like I haven't done this. I mean, he's deployed to Afghanistan, things like that. And you be supportive and you kind of lock down as this, I mean, I'm a mom too. So, I get it. But I actually think it's benefited me in the long run because I can see both sides of it at this point. And just nice to be able to add that other side to it to support the key spouses even more. When Alyssa had messaged me about being nominated, I was honestly like a little teary. I was like, oh my gosh, me, because I was going back and looking all the Veterans of the Month for the One Stop, and there's so many people that deserve it. I mean, our POWs and our Vietnam vets and our World War II vets, and I was like, man, do I do enough? I know I volunteer and I do a lot of things, but I'm just so grateful. Thank you guys for nominating me. I feel like a little overwhelmed by it, but yes, very excited. My final thought is just if you're a female veteran living in the Western New York area or in this area, and you are debating whether or not you're connected with the VA, it's already be connected, or if you're not, you need some direction on even how to do that. I can obviously help you with that, but don't hesitate to reach out. Even give you my VA cell is 716-435-3694. Talk to your primary care providers. I have 2 groups that run every week. One on Mondays called Veteran X, which is a fictitious character that has a slew of problems. It's a male and female group, so if you're a male, you can also come. And we kind of go through creating change in that person's life with different appointments along the VA, and the people in the group is the treatment team to kind of stir that person to kind of making some changes and solutions in life. And then I have a female peer group that meets every Friday from 12 to 1. Both of these groups are online. We don't do them in person, so please reach out to me. I'm also a key spouse for my husband's unit. He's in the 914th up at the Air Force Base. He's in the MXS. If any women that are spouses or anything like that need anything up on the Air Force Base, please don't hesitate to reach out to me as well.